Welcome back to our channel, and today we have cooked an extremely interesting story for you all. Let us begin with the same old but pretty favorite concept of time travel. Yes, we know it's a field of uncertainty, filled with lots of stories and conspiracies. All of us are aware that we don't have a time machine unless someone is hiding one giant machine in their basement. And we also know that time travel is physically impossible according to the laws of physics. Maybe in the future, one true genius might figure out the way to time travel, but for now, we know that it's a blank page. But then we hear stories and whispers. We hear of people who have time traveled one way or the other, seen the future or the past. And while most of these are hoaxes, many of their stories come out to be chillingly true. That does put us in a dilemma. If we are seeing that their stories are true, maybe they did travel through time. Or did they coincidentally make accurate predictions? We don't know, and there is a chance that we will never figure out such questions. But today, we are going to tell you the story of one of the most famous time traveler legends, Paul Amadeus dinacth. If you have never heard of his name, the easiest way to know it would be to go to the Amazon bookstore and search for Chronicles from the Future. It is perhaps one of the most interesting journals ever written, and some might even consider it as a prediction list for the future. As we said before, we cannot answer such unanswerable questions, but we can tell you more about who Paul dinacth is and why is the journal written by him one of the most curious books ever published. However, before we go on any further, do not forget to subscribe to our channel so that you do not miss out on the endlessly fascinating stories we bring for you. Dinacth was a plain, simple man in the 1920s who had no future plans of becoming a writer. Far from it, he was studying and training to become a teacher who taught German. Disaster struck dinacth when he became the victim of a sleeping sickness, a condition that leads to the swelling of the brain, in the year 1921. Quite unfortunately, dinacth went into a prolonged coma while he was hospitalized at Geneva Hospital for nearly a year. After his condition improved, he decided to move to a place with a better climate, and with respect to that decision, he moved to Greece in 1922. Although we didn't mention it before, dinacth was an extremely good teacher, and he soon became a reputable teacher at a German university in Greece. Like every teacher, he had a particular student who was his favorite, George Papahatsis, who later on became the vice president of the National Council of Greece. However, bad luck seemed to follow dinacth as he was diagnosed with bad health and tuberculosis just 2 years later. He decided to move again, this time to Italy for a change in the air. Before he left a mysterious briefcase filled with handwritten pages with Papahatsis and asked him not to read them until he left. Any other person might have been overly curious, but George, being the loyal student that he was, didn't begin to read the pages until his teacher left. The first idea he had was that dinacth had left him German study notes, but as soon as he started reading the pages more carefully, he was amazed and confused between whether it was merely a man's imagination